Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first, very trial episode of the Maine Pod Week, the official podcast of the Maine Playweek, an organization set up by my co-host here. I am Nate Stephenson, and here with me is...
I'm Julia Dunlavey,
the creator and founder of the Maine Playweek. So we, as always, like to talk about local theaters. That's really what our jive is, talking about local theaters, showing movies that people might not always get a chance to see if they don't know those movies are playing around them. So accessibility and community is the name of the game for us, I think. And oh boy, do we have some movies to talk about this week, because tomorrow, as we record this, is a very important night.
Tomorrow is the 97th Oscars. And just quick note, if you want to watch the Oscars, apparently for the very first time this year, they're going to be streaming on Hulu. Previously, you would have to get like a live TV subscription, so it'd be like an extra, like $80 a month, like YouTube subscription fee on top of your other streaming services that you pay for. Totally not worth it. I think my research has indicated that this year, with a basic Hulu subscription, you will be able to watch the Oscars,
which is super cool.
Which
I
is
saw that as well. Yeah.
Welcome to the 21st century.
About time.
Thank
you, Conan O'Brien.
Thank you,
Couldn't
Conan.
have done it without you, Conan. Big night tomorrow night. We are going to be talking about some of the movies that we have seen, and Julia and I went and saw The Brutalist together a little while ago now, but we had a heck of a time.
Yeah, it was a heck of a time.
It was fun.
It was super fun. We went to
it was the flagship cinemas in Falmouth, Maine.
Yes, in Falmouth, and that was actually the first time that I had been to that flagship in Falmouth, just because I'm not in Falmouth that often. But yeah. What was our experience like from the jump? Like, what was our experience like?
Yeah, so I think we went and we saw it pretty soon after it came to cinemas. Like, I think we maybe saw it like the first weekend or so that it was on screen around here, and we went on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. I think we got like a 3:30 showing,
right? And
what really amazed me was how full the audience was. Like, it was packed. We bought tickets when we showed up. And we kind of had to...
You were great. You bought the tickets before I showed up because you were there a couple minutes early, and you had the intelligence to be like, okay, we need to like get these seats, because it was assigned seating.
It is, yes. It is not general admission there.
Right.
It's assigned seating. And fortunately, I am an anxious traveler and moviegoer, so I was on the tickets and
got those two tickets right next to each other,
right
which
next
is
to each
great.
other. And there were some of like the last two tickets in reasonable seats that were right next to each other. But I just thought it was cool to see like what is arguably in kind of inaccessible movie. It's a big feat to go see that movie, I think, and it was packed right from the get-go.
Yeah. So
that was really cool to see. I would say we were the youngest people there.
Yeah.
By quite a good measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that may not be, that may be like the fact that we were in Falmouth,
That's true.
not
That's
like
true. Not,
downtown Portland.
That's absolutely true.
Or, I mean, it was a afternoon, during
matinee,
the day, matinee.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't understand how you could see The Brutalist start at a showtime
like
starting past like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
no, absolutely not.
You'd go to bed at, and that's way past my bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're 30 years old. we can't be doing that.
With that. We had a fun time. We tried to game the system a little bit, and Falmouth, I gotta be honest with you, not my favorite local cinema. That's nothing against you, Falmouth, and the way you run your business. I just find that the theaters there are weirdly long and thin.
Yes.
And
yes,
and that's a little bit of a weird viewing experience for me. So it's not necessarily my first choice. However, the seats fully recline.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go see a 3.5 hour, 4 hour long movie, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's
so,
a perk to have. Yeah.
Props to you for that one, Falmouth. So that's why we ended up there.
Yeah.
And so we got into our seats and we waited till the trailer started. And we saw a couple seats right next to each other about halfway up, and we thought, should we go take those? And so we did. We snuck up there. Only for, I'd say, like 3 minutes later, a very confused looking lady showed up with her phone right next to us and was clearly staring at us.
Yeah.
Which freaked me out. As I said, I'm an anxious traveler.
Yeah.
You kept her cool.
I was fully like, you know what? Like, it's your fault for coming in late. Like, I'm sorry. This is my cinematic experience, and you can
deal with it.
You can tear me out of this seat by, you know, with my cold dead hands or whatever. Like,
yeah.
know, like.
I, however, was very scared that they were going to tell on us. And
yes.
So I had no such qualms about my cold dead hands, and I was worried about my warm living hands being scolded by a theater manager.
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true. Not a good look for the co-hosts of the Maine Pod Week to be kicked out of any Maine theater.
Blast. So we hightailed it back to our seats with our tails tucked between our legs.
Yeah.
And you got snacks, didn't you? I didn't get any snacks because I ate a sandwich in the car.
Yeah. I got popcorn. I mean, I don't remember the popcorn being that good. I personally don't like the sort of like classic movie theater popcorn that is like super salty and like super fake. It's a flavor called Flavicle. If the popcorn nerds are interested.
This is Julia's popcorn segment.
This is my popcorn segment.
Talking Pop with Julia Dunlavey.
Yeah, so I mean, the typical movie theater popcorn, like at the Nickelodeon in Portland, or like at, you know, your flagship cinemas or at your Regals or whatever. I get it because I almost always like to have popcorn while I'm watching a movie in theaters, because it's just like, it adds the experience. I just love popcorn, but I would rather have the Maine Film Center popcorn. I think the Maine Film Center popcorn is the best in the state, and maybe that is a hot take
and unbiased take.
Yeah. It doesn't. It is a little biased because I used to work at the Maine Film Center. I used to get that popcorn free.
Which I find makes any popcorn taste way better.
Yes.
So fair enough.
But I think we could go into popcorn for like, I could talk about popcorn for ages. So I think we should focus
That's absolutely
on the
fair.
Oscars.
That's absolutely fair. Before we get to the Oscars,
we're saving popcorn for another day.
Yes. Before we do get to the Oscars, I did want to talk about our Brutalist intermission, which more films should have intermissions. I love that. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought it was a way to divide up the story. It felt incredibly intentional. A friend of mine had an incredible take about how the Brutalist, which is a film about trauma and about art and about the structure of buildings, kind of went hand in hand with the sort of monumental structure of the film itself. That's his take, not mine. I won't get into it here, but I did think it was very deliberate to have this movie about, you know, dealing with heavy emotions and dealing with monumental projects have a 15-minute beat in the middle, where it's like, all right, take care of what you need to take care of. We're going to chop the story up a little bit. We're going to give you permission to kind of take a deep breath, do what you need to do. Great time to run to the bathroom. I absolutely did that.
Yep.
Refilled the Diet Coke. Absolutely did that. And then I made it back in time to watch the intermission show, which was happening in the row in front of us.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this.
So there was the cinema. It's 4 seats in each row, and the row of 4 seats in front of us, I think it was 2 couples who didn't necessarily know each other. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I think during the movie, one of the ladies' phones had fallen out of her pocket and gotten lost in the chair somewhere.
In
And
these like massive
huge reclining theater chairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
mechanized reclining.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about like brutalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like...
And so they took the opportunity of the intermission to look for their phone, and the lady was unable to find it, so she got the person next to her to help her find it, and then the two people next to them started helping them find it, and then the two people next to us started helping them find it, and so all of a sudden there were 6 people like crawling around on the floor and like crawling over chairs and like standing in our row and reaching over the backs of the seats just looking for this lady's phone. And I wanted to help them, but there were 6 people looking in 4 chairs, and I thought, what can we do at this point, you know?
We can't do anything.
Yeah, so we just kind of had to sit there and like kind of draw our legs up into our chairs and let these people who, again, were quite a bit older than us. I felt guilty not doing anything, but like, what could we do?
No, I mean, listen, we can teach them how to maybe export a Word document as a
PDF, or maybe use Find My Phone to make your phone make a sound and help locate it that way.
But in terms of like rooting around in these like massive recliner chairs,
I didn't know what to do. I felt bad for them, but there was absolutely nothing we could do. So sorry, guys.
This is why you should, when you're in a movie theater, you should just don't put your phone in your pocket or anything. Just put it in your bag, and if you don't have a bag,
jacket pocket, zip it up.
And zip it up.
Zip
up the jacket pocket and just like forget about it. Because then, even better, put it on silent. Like, don't even put it on vibrate. And that's something that I forget to do all the time. So, you know, I'll be like watching a movie and I'll feel the vibration. I'll be like, oh, it kind of takes me out of the experience. Yeah. But yeah, just like forget about your phone.
Even
like,
if I just see someone's phone light up in a theater too.
Oh my gosh.
It just bothers me. Even if they don't look at it, just how is your phone out in a way that I can see it if it goes off at all? Right. Anyways.
That's another like total like I could talk about that for ages.
Yeah, I could go off about that one.
Phones and movie theater. I could talk about that for ages, and we will.
We will at some point, I'm sure, get into that when we have a real doozy of a time at a cinema with that one. But I think we were pretty good in terms of that. I don't remember any flagrant disregard of people in the cinema. All in all, it was a heck of a time I had at the Brutalist at the Falmouth Flagship Cinemas.
So good. I didn't think like it dragged or anything.
Nope.
Like it felt very, like you said, it felt very intentional.
Yeah.
And Adrian Brody is kind of a favorite for Best Actor, so we will see how he does.
I'd love to see him take Best Actor.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
I mean, he definitely deserves it, and the film is just like so crazy. And we did not realize that Laszlo Toth was was not a real person.
I spent this whole time being like, wow, what an incredible biopic. I can't wait to get out of here and learn more about this fascinating and real man. And then like 45 minutes after we left, I texted Julia and I was like, what? That was all made up? And people were talking about like Tar and the Lydia Tar effect, where like I guess a lot of people thought, I didn't have it on that one, but I guess a lot of people thought Tar was a real person as well.
Right.
But I mean, I think that just goes to show you what a heck of a movie it was. Exactly. You know? Yeah, absolutely. So all in all, I had a fantastic time at the Falmouth Flagship Cinemas. So shout out Falmouth Flagship.
Yeah.
Great
shout
local theater.
Out Falmouth Flagship and your weird narrow screening rooms.
I think I've only been there once before, and it was to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Nice. 2
big thumbs down. But that's neither here nor there. We've been seeing some good movies, and we'd love to talk about that. Julia just saw a movie last night, and this was a big one for Julia. Walk me through it.
Okay, so this is a movie that I have been avoiding seeing since it came out in October. The Substance. I don't know if you are familiar with it.
I certainly am.
It's kind of big, and I have been avoiding it since it came out because I'm a huge wimp when it comes to horror. So I saw it last night at the Nickelodeon at an 8:15 showtime.
Nice.
With my friend Jackie, who came down all the way from Waterville, which was really, really nice of her to come all the way down. But
Shout out Jackie.
she similarly, she was like, yeah, I've just been like super lazy in getting around to seeing this. So I'm glad that the Nickelodeon brought it back for sort of like, a lot of theaters will bring back Oscar-nominated films around the Oscars.
And I love that the Nick does that. The Nick is very good. The Nick
Yes.
in downtown Portland is very good about that. What it would have been 2 years ago now, I think. Triangle of Sadness was one that I missed on like the first go around.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they brought it back right before Oscar season.
Right.
And I got a chance to get in and see that. I love it when a theater does that, and the Nick is, like I said, is really good about that.
Yeah, I think the Nick does overall a pretty good job of programming, and yeah, we can get into sort of our thoughts about the Nick, and because that's obviously, you know, major player in Maine cinema.
And especially for us as two Portlanders,
yes. Yeah, so The Substance, I was surprised at myself. I actually really, really enjoyed the experience.
Hey, let's go.
I think that when it comes to horror, I am much more reticent about seeing horror that, like the jump scare kind of horror.
Yes, absolutely.
The body horror actually like doesn't bother me that much.
Okay.
And I actually found myself kind of enjoying it.
Cool. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I think that's because I'm the kind of person, and I'm sure there are these kinds of people like me listening. I'm the kind of person who watches pimple popping videos.
Okay, all right.
Before bed.
Okay.
And so, like, that kind of, like...
It's a pimple poppy kind of movie.
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. No, I actually, to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I get what people are saying about it sort of being, like, over the top. Like, it hits you over the head with the message. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If I'm having fun, you know, I never felt, when I saw it, I never felt like, okay, I get it, move on to the next thing. You know? It was like, damn, I really get it, and I'm enjoying getting it, so like more of it.
Yeah,
please,
right. Give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more. I'm just curious about how you're gonna like portray this message into my brain right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nick was great. I was surprised. It was actually, there were more people than I thought there would be. I was thinking like, oh, you know, it's a late-ish showtime.
Sure. Friday night.
Friday night, like, who knows? But, you know, there's like 10 or 15 people in there.
Nice.
So pretty good for like a bring back.
A bring back
title.
For late on a Friday night too. You know?
People were laughing throughout.
Yes.
I don't know if that was true.
So yeah, I saw the movie back in October with a friend of mine as well. And we went and we saw it at the Nick as well. Yeah, I think in October, very early October. And God, at this point, I think maybe we went and we saw like a 6 o'clock show or something like that. And it was the fullest theater I had been to in quite some time, which is really fun because I just feel like you don't normally get into packed cinemas anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And like a friend of mine once read Quentin Tarantino's book. I don't know the name of it. I haven't read it.
I didn't even know he wrote a book.
Yeah. And it's about like growing up in the 70s and like going to see movies and like the experience of going to see a movie with 300 people.
Yeah.
Like that sounds incredible.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
insane.
And
yeah.
I'm never going to really get that, I feel like, at this point anymore. But like to get in to see The Substance at the Nick with, I would say there were maybe 50 of us in the theater. It was a decent sized crowd.
Yeah.
And to hear everybody laugh and to hear the groans and to hear the gasps, like just it's a shared experience, and I think it's hard to capture that at home on the couch, watching some movie on streaming. And there can be a time and place for that as well, but like I like to go see a movie and make it an event, go out before and get a drink or get dinner or whatever, and then come into the theater and have a fun time. I also really agree with you about horror. I don't really go in for horror much. I was iffy about seeing The Substance, but everything in The Substance was completely in my wheelhouse. Like I felt like I could deal with it all.
Yeah.
As opposed to something like Nosferatu, which I saw a couple weeks ago, and I was really
just
scared by that.
I was just
scared me a lot.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna compare Nosferatu and The Substance being like, the two most recent horror movies that I've seen, and I had a really rough time at Nosferatu.
Me too. I watched a lot of Nosferatu through my fingers, and I do not mind telling anybody that.
No, my poor nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like my nerves were just like on edge the entire time, and I could recognize that it was a good film. I really could recognize, like, oh my gosh, like, which Skarsgård? Who was it?
Which one is that? Bill.
Bill was great. I love Nicholas Hoult, just like in everything that he does, and so I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay, yes, like I recognize this is a great movie, but like I am not having emotionally a good time now.
It was hard for me as well in a way that The Substance was not. I had a really fun time at The Substance. Like, I loved it. Was a joy to look at. I loved the color work, the color symbolism in it. I just thought it was a heck of a time, and it was. I feel like so many people can get so many different things from the movie.
Yes.
And to be able to be in a room with a lot of people getting a lot of different things from the movie, it was a treat. It was a really fun time.
Yeah.
You had sort of an unusual film screening recently, haven't you?
Yeah, so I went with actually one of our colleagues at the Maine Playweek, Kyle Manning. I went to
Shout out Kyle Manning.
You're just over here with the shout outs.
We got it.
We met for a drink at Downtown Lounge on Congress Street in Portland, DTL, which I'd never been to before. I don't know why. It's a great little dive bar.
I've also never been there.
But so we walk in, we're like sitting and we order our beers and it's great, and we're like there pretty early. We're there like, happy hour time. We're there at like 5 o'clock. So we're like, the first ones there basically, the real nerds coming into the dive bar at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. Again, we are 30 years old.
We gotta make it work.
But we walk in and the bartender is like fiddling with the TV over the bar, and he's choosing what to put on, and you think, it's like The Game or like Seinfeld reruns or like who knows, but he goes and he picks Flow, the Latvian animated film about a cat surviving this apocalyptic flood.
What a pick.
That is nominated for Best International Feature and I think Best Animated Film for the Oscars this year. We're like, what? Like, this like dive bar in Portland, Maine, this like grizzled, like bearded, like this guy is like, he is not the typical like,
not who you'd guess,
not the typical like artsy kind of like, oh yeah, I'm interested in this like, Latvian animated film, like. And so I asked, I was like, oh, like what made you pick this to put on? He was like, oh, I don't know, it looked kind of fun, looked kind of interesting.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, great. And actually it was kind of the perfect movie to have in the background of a bar because there's no dialogue, so it was kind of just this like ambient, kind of beautiful animated.
Could you hear it at all? Or
no, he had the sound completely off.
Sure.
So
that makes sense.
yeah, so I think there was music playing, in the bar, separate from that. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I tried not to watch it so much because I didn't want to spoil it myself because I do have plans to see it tomorrow.
Nice. Where at?
At the Nick.
Nice.
You want to come?
I'm going to be out of town,
okay,
unfortunately.
never mind.
Probably won't work, but I might be able to make it work. We'll see.
Okay.
Good
Stay
to know.
tuned.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll keep you on the edge of your seats until next week. Or maybe never at all if nobody ever hears this.
No one cares.
No one cares.
Anyway, so Flow in a dive bar at 5 p.m. Was a real cinematic experience.
And what did you have? What'd you drink alongside? What did you pair it with?
I had a Lone Pine Pale Ale.
The official Maine Pod Week recommendation is Lone Pine Pale Ale and Flow. There you go, everyone. Those are some flicks we've seen lately, and people are going to say whether they're deserving of awards or not tomorrow night. I, as I am going out of town, am going to be put up in a hotel in beautiful Bangor, Maine. I have grand plans to get Chinese takeout and watch the Oscars in my hotel room.
Nice.
So that's what I have on the docket. That's my big watch party plan. I don't know that I have a lot of picks for this year. I can tell you a couple of ones. So my pick for Best Picture is not. I have one that I think is going to win, and I have one that I would like to see win.
Right.
And those are two separate pictures.
So what would you like to see win?
The Brutalist. The Brutalist was the most remarkable film I've seen in a very, very long time. It blew me away, really on every level. However, based on the things I hear about movies and the way that festivals are going, I would not be surprised at all to see Anora take it. I liked Anora too. I saw it at the Nick as well. And I think it would be an awesome film to take Best Picture. But in terms of movies that had an impact on me, I think The Brutalist was, of the Best Pictures that I saw this year, the finest one.
Yeah, and I think that is, it's important to remember that, like, with all of this Oscar hype of, like, oh, like, who got snubbed and who's going to win and who should win and who shouldn't win and blah, 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 it's important to sort of, like, remember, like, going to the movies is a personal experience. And, like,
yes. Yeah.
You don't have to like the movie that people vote for Best Picture. Like, you just don't, and it's okay.
Breaking news. Art is subjective. Yes.
Right.
Is it kind of dumb to give awards to art? Yes, it's subjective.
Right.
However, is it fun to give awards to art? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a lot.
Yes. I think that Anora has a lot of headwind with it. It has won a lot of the sort of, like, precursors to the Oscars. I saw Anora not in Maine theaters, but at the Coolidge Corner Theater in Brookline, Massachusetts.
One of my favorite theaters.
Absolutely, like, gold standard in independent movie theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, great film. I hope that everybody sees it. I was really upset that A Real Pain did not get a Best Picture nomination.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
I liked that one a lot. I felt like it was a good, solid movie. You know, like, I liked everything about it. For the most part, there was, and I thought the performances were fantastic. I did kind of feel like Jesse Eisenberg was playing Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin was playing Kieran Culkin, you know? And so I didn't feel like a lot of, like, stretch and, like
right.
artistic.
As an actor, you probably, like, tuned into that more.
And I think I do, no matter, as an actor, I think I do that no matter what movie I see. That's something that I pay close attention to. I didn't get a chance to see all of the Oscar noms. Normally I'm better about that. I didn't even hear about Nickel Boys or I'm Still Here until the nominations came out. Since then I've heard phenomenal things about both, and I would love to get a chance to see those if I could. Other than that, I'm missing out on A Complete Unknown. Sorry, Bob Dylan. Never been a huge Bob Dylan guy. Wicked. Sorry, Wicked. Never been a huge Wicked guy. I know. I'm going to catch some heat for that one.
Oh, yeah. That's no good.
I didn't see Amelia Perez because, I mean, do I have to say it? But
honestly, we don't need to talk about Amelia Perez.
Julia, you were saying before we started recording that you had a plan for maybe seeing it.
The plan is that I don't have a plan for seeing it. The plan is that if it were still playing in theaters, maybe I would make the time to see it. But because it has gotten this controversy and I don't know, I'm not jumping at the chance to turn on Netflix and watch it on my couch.
I think that's fair
too.
Like, I think if a Best Picture nom, and there have been more in years past, I think, is, like, kind of exclusively on Netflix, or for the most part on Netflix, with maybe a few like limited screenings.
Like Roma was one.
Right, and that was maybe the first one.
That was the first. I think that was Netflix's first Oscar nomination.
Sure.
Roma. Don't fact check me on
that.
But...
No fact checking. No fact checking. But it was certainly the first one that I remember. I'm less interested to see, because like you said,
exactly.
I think film is a communal thing.
Yeah. And it's like, if I'm watching something on my couch on the TV, like, it's gonna be Real Housewives.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Or I'm gonna get distracted halfway through in a way that I wouldn't if I was at the movie theater.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm gonna be knitting, or I'm gonna pick up my phone, or I'm gonna answer the door, or something like that. And it just kind of takes away from the experience for me overall.
Okay, so we wanted to go through some ideas for some Oscar puns for snacks that you might bring to your Oscar watch party.
Yes, if you need food ideas, Julia's got you covered. She's been cooking these ones up all week.
Been cooking, I've been Googling, I've been...
thinking of rhymes.
Yeah. All right, so...
What do we got?
Okay, this is the easiest one. You literally just open up a bag and put it in a bowl. It's called popcorn.
Brilliant.
So, obviously, conclave. I love it. And as previously discussed, I do love popcorn. So,
sure.
Popcorn.
Excellent. It's great for the Oscars because of the movies. It's great for Oscars because of movies in general.
Exactly.
It covers all your bases.
All the bases. And what's an Oscar watch party without popcorn? It's nothing. Okay, and then the BRUTALIST, which
brilliant,
which is like a sparkling wine, like a Cava Brut.
Smart.
So there you go.
My favorite, we got a list right in front of us here. I think my favorite one, it's it could be a main course here, or you could do like little ones for an appetizers. A complete calzone, I think, is my favorite one on this list. I think it's a great pun. I think it's a great dish. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little, in terms of puns, it's a little bit of a stretch, which I think is the best pun.
Yep.
But it also still completely works. It holds up entirely.
Yes.
If I had to pick one from this list, I would be bringing some complete calzones.
A complete calzone. The substance, which is like, it would be sort of like green, like some kind of Midori, green drink, you know?
Yeah.
You could do Jello shots, you could do whatever kind of green cocktail.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even just like flavor
food dye exists.
Food dye, anything.
Yep,
anything. Kind of like clear liquid, you could put green food dye in it. Great. Demi s'mores.
In the same vein as the substance, you know? You could dye your marshmallows green, maybe. Oh, wow. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Wow. No fact checking.
This is one that I think I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to go to Hannaford and get some supplies. I'm going to make the Fruitalist.
Nice.
So basically, you get a lot of cut fruit and toothpicks, and I
love where this is going.
And you build a structure, a Brutalist structure.
Outstanding stuff. Yeah, cubed melon.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Laszlo Toth would be proud.
He'd love it.
All right, and then I'm still beer.
This one made me laugh when we were going over the list as well. It is still making me laugh. It's not just beer though. You had an explanation for what this.
Well, yeah, like if you want to bring a non-alcoholic beer, or like some other kind of drink. I mean, you could even bring like actual beer and just label it as like I'm still beer.
Yep.
But it is, but it is funny if it's a non-alcoholic drink. Okay, and then this one I really like, but also maybe not a popular one because this is more of a breakfast food, but a real pain au chocolat.
Which is brilliant. I think if you're not having an Oscars watch party with pain au chocolats,
what are you
even doing? Even if it's a breakfast food. They're delicious. Who doesn't love a pain au chocolat?
I want pain au chocolat and a green Jello shot for my Oscars party, and obviously the Fruitalist. And then the last one, this is an obvious one, but Cardinal Bellini, which is just... Cardinal Bellini is Stanley Tucci's...
Stanley Tucci in almost
Conclave.
Conclave, yes. Yeah.
So,
and what is a Bellini? That's
okay, a Bellini
is it champagne and peach or something like
yes,
that? Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
It's champagne. It's some kind of sparkling wine. So you could use you could use your BRUTALIST wine that you have.
Absolutely.
And just add some sort of peach thing, I think, and that makes it a Cardinal Bellini.
Lovely. Delicious. There's a lot of mileage with Dune spice related things.
Yes.
You could have spicy food, or you could have I'm a huge Dune head here. In the book, they talk a lot about how spice smells like cinnamon. So any cinnamon flavored thing, a churro chip, that could be,
and churros, huge snub there for challengers.
That's true. Huge snub. We won't get into that now, but no love for challengers this year. Yeah. We hate to see it.
It's too bad.
So there's some picks for you guys. Some Oscar picks, some food picks for your Oscars party. And all there is left to do now is wait and see which way the Academy goes. I know I'll be tuning in tomorrow night. Sounds like Julia's got plans as well.
Yep.
And those are the films that we have seen, the places we've seen them, and a couple of our thoughts about those films as well. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Maine Pod Week. Again, I'm Nate Stephenson.
I'm Julia Dunlavey.
And this has been the Maine Pod Week. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear from us next time.